Hello YouTube, it's Psycogpg Philip here again. Trust you are doing great. So in this video I'll be showing us how to set up PostgreSQL database on a Linux machine, as well as how to connect this database to our Django application. So I would say that this video is not an introductory video to relational database, SQL or Postgres. I'll be slimming this video down to setting up the Postgres database and how to connect it to our application. So let's dive in. Let's get started. I'll be opening my preferred text editor, which is Visual Studio. I have it here, and I'll be setting up my terminal, bringing it out. All right. So I'll be creating this app in my desktop environment tutorials. So I'll be creating a directory here. Let's call it Postgres app. Postgres. No, let's just call it Postgres application. All right. So let's seed into Postgres, and we'll be creating a virtual environment in this folder. So the command for creating a virtual environment, which we should have installed earlier via pip install virtual env. If you've done that, then you can virtual env. Then let's create our virtual environment, which I will call venv. That shouldn't take long. All right, so we have our virtual environment created already. You can see we have our virtual environment there. So we cd into our, move into our virtual environment folder, and inside that we'll have a bin folder as well, where our activate script is. So you can see our activate script right there. So we're going to source it and call and run the script. So we have our virtual environment activated. So pip install Django. All right, so let's call our Django admin, startup, and let's call it Postgres as well. Okay, that would be a wrong. We would start project instead. Start project. Let's call it Postgres. And because we have an app named that already in our, let's open it here, file. So this isn't what we want yet. We'll be deleting this. Okay, go over here, and we'll be starting our project Postgres. All right, so we can move into our Postgres and see what we are. So we have the manage.py. This is what we would call to run our script instead of the Django admin. We'll prefer to use that. So the default configuration that comes with the Django application is a SQLite database engine. This is the default setting, of which we will be setting this to a PostgreSQL. All right, so this name as well, we can let's just comment this out for now. Let's save that. So however, we don't have this database created now, so let's do that already. I'll be opening a new terminal. It's environment, so I have to open now. Then I would be running the sudo apt install. So but since this is like the first time like in using the apps in this session, I would rather us refresh our local package index. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, package index. So like sudo apt update, if you haven't, you should do that. Update. All right, so I have that done. Then you can do this, which I have installed already. Sudo apt install the PostgreSQL as well as the PostgreSQL contrib. So this contrib provides us some add-ons that offers, you know, extra utility, like extra function. Let's just call it that. Like, it offers extra additional functions, so you can run this script. I have that installed already. So if you have, okay, let me just sudo apt install PostgreSQL as well as PostgreSQL contrib. All right, so I have it installed already. You can just, if you haven't, it's gonna like install on your system. So what is going to happen now is we'll have to like switch to a Postgres account. So what that means is that we would be like creating like a clean root shell for, you know, Postgres. So what that means is I would be that is exactly what the hi command does here. Like it's creates a new root shell, more like as though the root user just relogs in, and this time around we're specifying the user as the Postgres, as Postgres. So that launches Postgres as a root user, like right here on this terminal. So now what we're going to go on to like create a database, but in this environment, if you'd like to launch the Postgres prompts inside of this terminal as well, you can do that by running PSQL. So it's with this environment, you can, you know, alter, you know, your database structure, edit, you know, create tables, and, you know, insert and all of those commands. But that isn't, you know, the purpose of this lesson or tutorial. So let's end this. We will be creating our database. So the command is create db, and before we create a database, we can as well create user. We can as well create a user with this command as well. We can specify the kind of control or authorization this user has. We can flag it with the interactive with the interactive command. So this asks us further questions like what does this user have access to, and etc. So enter the name of this user as the role. I'll call it Philip. So shall it be a super user? Yes. All right, so this role has been created with the name of Philip, and let's move further to creating a database. So let's clear this. Creating our database, we'll create it with this command create db, and we specify the name of the database we are trying to create. So let's call it a postgap db. So now our postgap db is created already. So how do we know that this db is created? By let's go down back into our Django application. So you can remember we specify the engine as, you know, PostgreSQL. So to be sure this is working properly, which the name of this, let's call it that is the same we used here, postgap db that we have here. So let's copy that and have the name in our Django application. So let's save that. So had it been your database is hosted on another server, you could have the server location described or defined here as well. The user can as well be specified, the user, the password, etc., and all of that. But just to keep it simple, we're going with the engine description and the name. So let's save that and head back to terminal. And okay, before we run, I think there is something I need to say, that the PostgreSQL, one of the reasons why a lot of people face challenges is that the PostgreSQL does not run without a dependency on our machine. So there's a library that Postgres relies on and Python to work, which is the Psycopg no sorry about that, Psycopg. Okay, so this Psycopg is an important bridging library that connects PostgreSQL and, you know, Python together. It's more like a driver, or better an adapter, like for, you know, Python. So it is through this library, this Psycopg, that, you know, Django's ORM, you know, communicates, sets up, and, you know, customize the database for us. So this is a very important library for PostgreSQL to work on our machine. So we'll be installing Psycopg2. So let's pip install. Alright, so I have it already installed on my machine. So if you haven't, you should install that. So then let's go. Alright, let's run the server now. I think everything is in place. Python 3 manage. Run server. So you can see our server is running successfully. So let's make these migrations as well as create a very light application. So let's call the Python's manage.py. Sorry about that. Start up. Let's call it a modular, just to show you how this works. Okay, managed. All right. So we have the modular hub created here, and so let's create a simple model here. Class. Let's call a list of movies listings. The models.model. Okay. So the name of the movie. So models.character field, and let's set max length. Let's set its max length to 50. Then category, just to create another different type of category, models dot character field, but let's make this a choice. Category, let's create one or two, or two or three rather. Okay, category, let's go with that. So let's have drama. This is the part that shows to us like the users and the admin. Then this is what the database has. Let's just give it drama. Then action. Action as well. So all right, choices. Then let's go with category then. All right, so let's specify max length as well. Max length, let's call it 6, because that is what we have there. So let's return. This is what it shows when the listing object, the object is called, the listings object. It's okay, sorry, it should be a string there. So let's return self.name. So there's a particular thing I prefer to do when defining models like this. I like specifying their names, like with class method, just so that, you know, we have a listing. We wouldn't want listing double S at the back there. I mean, it could be shown like this on the database side, which I wouldn't like. So we can correct that with the verbose name to be listing, as well as the verbose name plural. So listings as well. So let's save that and add this application to our Django installed apps. So there is the modular app config. All right, so some persons might prefer to just have the, you know, the app directly like modular. It works fine as well, but I prefer to, you know, specify it this way, because it's kind of like shows me how, you know, it's more intuitive for me this way than to just write the modular like that. So let's head back to let's make migration again. make migrations. Alright, then let's migrate. Alright, and let's run our server. So all of these okay, there's something we've not done. We've not created the admin, the create. So we have to like do that by running the command create super user. All right. All right. So let's run our server again and okay. All right. And done. So you can see we are logged into our admin, and the reason why our models application here, which we created here, is not showing is because we've not registered it to our admin. So to see this modular app listed with the ones already listed here in the site administration, would have to register it in the admin.py. Okay, by the admin.site, then register. We're going to register the app, the model from our application. So from .models import listings. All right, so let's register the listings. So we've registered it and our server should be refreshed. All right, and here we have it. So we can add a listing, a listing, a name, brother Shaggy. So category. All right, action. We can save that. So all of these is happening on, is being stored on the database we specified. Okay, I'm sorry about that. On the database we specified, there's Postgres. So a change in the name of the application, on the name of the database, will cause a problem. You can see PostgreSQL DB doesn't exist. So and our application is running successfully again. So all right, thank you for watching, and if you found value in this video, you can click the like button, as well as, you know, subscribe to the channel, as I'm working on other interesting tutorials like crash course in Django, as well as, you know, getting started with Python. See you next time. Thank you.